Hi, I'm Tom Hughes. Thanks for finding me again as I travel around London, finding sites associated with my new book, A Shattered Idol, the Lord Chief Justice and His Troublesome Women, being published this spring 2025 by Marble Hill Books. We're here on Westbourne Street, just north of Hyde Park. Behind me, in the corner flat, was the home of Bernard Coleridge. Bernard was the son of the Lord Chief Justice of England, John Duke Coleridge. He was a young family man and embarked on a career which would be not quite as distinguished as his father at the bar, far short of it actually. It was here on Westbourne Street in 1883 that Bernard wrote a furious letter to his older sister Mildred, who since their mother's death had been their father's hostess and companion in Sussex Square, as unmarried daughters were supposed to be, quite frankly, at that time, certainly in this class of people. And it was going very well until she met Charles Warren Adams. Bernard and Mildred were both active in the anti-vivisection movement, drive to end medical experiments on living animals. Mildred and Adams worked very closely together. He was the director of the Victoria Street Society. He eventually got the sack there because he was just a troublesome character, very querulous and combative, chronically unemployed, and frankly, skint, broke. The family became increasingly concerned as Mildred's relationship with Adams deepened. Bernard took it upon himself to write a long letter to Mildred, basically saying, what do you know about this man? He was married before. His wife had died, but they had a child who refused to live with him. Bernard said there was new intelligence coming in daily that would convince her the man was only out for her money. Bernard's letter was passed on by Mildred to Adams. Her father said, don't do that. Bernard said, don't do that, but she did. And Mildred was, in effect, banned from her father's home. Adams sued Bernard for libel. Bernard's letter was published in newspapers worldwide, but for the remarks he made about his sister's naivete, she was really a very sheltered, pampered woman in her 30s. She didn't know anything about the sexual responsibilities in marriage. The eventual trial of Adams versus Bernard Coleridge was only the first in a series of sensational incidents that I write about in the new book, A Shattered Idol. Thanks very much for listening to this little bit about Bernard Coleridge. Poor Bernard, who never quite lived up to his father's great name, but ended up a judge himself, a justice on the High Court. That's it from Westbourne Street. Thanks very much indeed. Check out the other YouTube stories and look for the book.